If they could hit their targets, you might trust them. We know they can't. More experts out today. They're saying that half the utes sold would have to be electric in order to meet the emission standards. And new investigations also found that EVs have up to a third less battery life than we were previously told. Local councils, well, they're trying to get in on the act that they want to tax large utes and SUVs in a move that the motoring journalist Paul Marrick has said it's ridiculous. He says it's a woke utopia where no one drives anywhere, everyone's on a bicycle or running around in a tiny electric vehicle if this sort of nonsense goes ahead.
It is nonsense. Well, putting aside the merit or otherwise of the goal that's set down here, it is unachievable. And then by putting a tax on these vehicles, trying to incentivise take-up of these EVs is not going to work at all either. And just on local councils, I mean, if they could get the basics right, you know, fixing roads, collecting rubbish and dealing with our rates appropriately, then I'd give them a free pass to go and dabble in state, federal and sometimes international politics. But I think they should just stick to their knitting. On EVs, though, something of interest to me, the Albanese Labor government have of course, converted the entire Comcar fleet to electric vehicles. And I've been reading a bit about Comcar travel lately, and some of these long trips are going to be very hard to sustain for Comcar, particularly their EVs. I don't know how they're going to do it, but it is a ridiculous goal and one I think they have to back down on.
And if it's not all of that, Nick, there's also security concerns about these EVs because all you need is a chip in the car from a Chinese manufacturer. You'll know where everybody's driving in Australia. You know all the issues that people are having moving around the country. What if there's a chip in a government car? I mean, a lot of those government cars now going to EV. I think they're German EVs, but soon they'll be Chinese. This is also a problem.
It is a real concern, Peter. I've been concerned about this for some time. The Chinese share of the electric vehicle market is growing exponentially. They are now worldwide by far the biggest exporters of electric vehicles. I mean, forget your Teslas. You know, the Chinese are taking that market. They're doing them cheaper than anybody else, and they can do that because we've let them have the whole supply chain, and we dig up our lithium from Kalgoorlie or wherever, straight on the boat to China. They process it, they do the battery technology. I don't know that really this was thought through for 1 second when they started to push ahead with electric vehicles. Nobody really thought, well, where those vehicles are going to come from. They're going to come more and more from China. And if Chris Bowen thinks that's a good idea right now, then he really needs to take a break from politics and think about things.
Jono, we talked last week about this nature positive plan, which is Labor's new radical reform of our national environmental laws. There's a whole lot of consultation going on, we're told. But what's this story that phones and laptops apparently are banned from any meeting about the legislation?
Well, can I tell you, Peter, when my kids go and hide in the pantry to sneak chocolate chip cookies, they're hiding something, they're doing something bad and in secret to try and get away with it. Sadly, the federal government is doing exactly the same thing. They are trying to keep Australians out of understanding what it is they are planning to do with environmental approval laws at a federal level. And you used the right word. Radical is what I'm concerned will be the outcome here. What is it they're hiding? Why are they scared of scrutiny? We've been standing here as an opposition offering bipartisanship to get these laws right because the alternative pathway for the government is to do a deal with the Greens. You do not want the Greens anywhere near environmental approval laws at a federal, state or any other level for that matter. But the fact is they've kept it secret. They won't let anyone take their computers, phones, laptops, iPads into these briefings. And everyone is left in the dark on this. I think it does spell disaster for these laws. When they are finally brought to Parliament. We're already about 6 months late. I do not have high hopes for what the government bring forward. We'll be announcing our own policies, given the government have left us in the dark too. But this is bad news all round for Australia.